What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Liam Page, here with another video. This one's going to be titled, Bitcoin is not digital gold, right? So, Bitcoin is not digital gold. Before I get started, it is February 19th, 2022, about 8:34 a.m., and I'm going to be doing a video on why Bitcoin is not digital gold. So let's just jump right into it. Why is Bitcoin not digital gold? Well, I guess before I start with explaining why it's not, we should explain why people think it is. So, a lot of people, especially Bitcoin maximalists, will talk to you about how Bitcoin is digital gold. They'll tell you, Bitcoin is digital gold. I've even heard people say, we're replacing gold. Now that's a little silly, I think. You're probably not going to replace gold anytime soon. And I don't have any gold for you, but I do have this 1 troy ounce American silver eagle. Look at how it shines in the sun. Beautiful little coin, right? So I'm going to be using this just to kind of fondle in the video, and you can look at it and imagine that it's physical silver, not digital gold. So why, people will say Bitcoin is digital gold. Usually people who are heavily invested in Bitcoin. Now, why is that not true? Well, point number one I'm going to make is that Bitcoin is not fungible. Not fungible at all. Not when compared to something like this, physical silver or physical gold. So what is fungibility? Fungibility essentially means that 1 unit of something, say 1 ounce of silver, is indistinguishable from another ounce of silver. They're mutually exchangeable, right? They are the same. So how is Bitcoin not the same? How is one Bitcoin not the same than another Bitcoin? Well, the Bitcoin blockchain is completely public. People can see Bitcoin transactions. They can do chain analysis to figure out how much Bitcoin is in each Bitcoin wallet, right? Completely public. There is no privacy on the Bitcoin blockchain, right? Now, why is that a problem? Well, as I mentioned before, there's this thing called chain analysis. That's when companies, individuals, algorithms even, well, it's almost always done through algorithms, but nonetheless, people can look at the Bitcoin blockchain and make, assumptions, figure things out, tell where 1 Bitcoin has been going. 1 Bitcoin, have an idea of transactions in the Bitcoin network, right? Why is that a problem? Well, if you're doing something, let's say purchasing narcotics on a darknet market, I think it goes without saying, it doesn't take a genius to figure out how you wouldn't want your transactions to be public, right? And as such, if you look up, OPSEC on buying something on a darknet market, you're going to hear that you want to tumble your Bitcoins, you want to buy them in cash without know your customer, wherever possible, you want to buy them on local Bitcoin, what have you. You don't want to be, purchasing them on an exchange with your credit card. That's another side point. A lot of Bitcoin maximalists, well, I'd hope not, but a lot of people are invested in Bitcoin. They just have it on Coinbase. And if you say Bitcoin is digital gold and you just have it on an exchange somewhere, that's especially hilarious because you don't even own Bitcoin. What you have is basically a ledger entry in Coinbase or what have you, whatever exchange you're using's accounting books, saying that you're owed, whatever, 1 Bitcoin, 0.1 Bitcoin. So that's point number one. Bitcoin is not fungible. I guess before I leave point number one, let me just touch on why this is fungible. So why is silver fungible? Well, I could melt this silver down. I would still have 1 ounce, it would become just a melted blob of silver, and I could go trade it with somebody else. Even as it is right now, this doesn't have a serial number. It has a stamp, Lady Liberty, it has the seal on the back. But nonetheless, other than perhaps my fingerprints on this is indistinguishable from all the other American silver eagles made in 2004. I could go hand this to somebody, and as soon as I leave, they would not, there'd be no way to tell, oh, Liam gave this silver round to XYZ person, So silver and gold are fungible. They're probably the most fungible thing I can think of, other than, random items that you're bartering with or what have you. Even cash, you can make an argument that USD is not quite fungible because it has serial numbers, right? So that's that. So point number two, Bitcoin relies on the internet, right? Bitcoin relies on the internet. You need an internet connection to be able to transact in Bitcoin. Why is that a problem? Well, the internet could go down, right? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think we're gonna, enter some kind of apocalyptic nightmare where the internet's gone forever. But nonetheless, if your power went out, maybe you wanted to buy something in Bitcoin that day, it could be a little inconvenient for you, And also, I looked up before filming this video, not all of the world has access to the internet right now. In the United States, in a first world country, it's pretty easy to just take advantage of, internet, Oh yeah, Bitcoin is digital gold. It's going to replace the monetary system. We're going to send Bitcoin back and forth. Well, that's great for you, but only about 60% of the world has access to the internet as of the time that I'm filming this video. Actually, the numbers I got were from January 2021, about a year ago, but nonetheless, right? So, you may have internet access, but not everybody does. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that number is probably growing every year. More and more people are coming online getting internet access. But you don't need internet access to transact in precious metals, in gold. I could just hand this to somebody. They can do some tests. They can do a little acid test. They can, tap it with a magnet, figure out that it's real silver, real gold, bite it, whatever you want, melt it down. Say, hey, yeah, this is real gold. This is real silver. Thanks. I could go transact in the most, primitive society in gold and silver. And as a matter of fact, they'd probably accept it because gold and silver have a long history of being used as currency and as money and as something that has value, In fact, I looked up some stats about that. Humans have first been collecting gold flakes. There's evidence of gold flakes as far as 40,000 years ago, right? 40,000 BC or so. Neolithic, primitive humans collected gold flakes. Gold, as far back as 3,000 years ago in Egypt, gold was used as something that's valuable, So, there's just a long history of value. Past performance does not indicate future performance, whatever. But nonetheless, I remember my dad explaining to me when I was really young how gold will always have value. So maybe I'm a little biased, but, I was probably 4 or 5 years old and he was talking about how paper, we put value in fiat currency. We put our faith and credit in the U.S. government. But gold, silver, they've had value for, human history. They've always had value. Gold and silver are in the Constitution as money, right? This has a value. Bitcoin, not so much, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I like, Bitcoin. I like the Bitcoin white paper. I own some Bitcoin. Nakamoto consensus, I think, was a big breakthrough, right? But, nonetheless, you just understand what you're dealing with, So that's point number 2. Now, point number 3, this is actually goes to the credit of Bitcoin maximalists a bit. People will say Bitcoin is scarce. Fair enough. That is a fact. Bitcoin is limited. The supply is limited to 21 million Bitcoin. At the time of filming this, I think about 18.9 million have been mined and are circulating. Right? So it is scarce. Fair enough. So is gold. Fair enough. Right? But with that being said, that's not really a reason why Bitcoin is digital gold. That just means they have one similar characteristic. They're scarce. There's a finite, limited supply, as opposed to something like USD, which just has an infinite supply. It's being printed every day, what have you. So you could make an argument that Bitcoin might have similar investment characteristics as gold because it's scarce. You can make an argument that in an inflationary event, like we're living through right now, Bitcoin's going to perform similarly to gold because it's scarce. But do not, conflate the two. Do not conflate something being scarce with being the exact same as gold or silver. That's ridiculous, right? So that's pretty much my 3 reasons why Bitcoin is not digital gold. Now, what could be digital gold? Well, maybe something like Monero. Monero, it's a privacy coin, is actually pretty fungible. It's very difficult to tell you know, which Monero are which. You cannot do chain analysis on Monero. You cannot, you know, look at the Monero blockchain and say, oh, look, this person transacted this Monero to that wallet, you know. It's not going to happen. You wouldn't even be able to know how much Monero transacted. Whereas Bitcoin, you can see the wallets, the amounts, everything on the public blockchain, right? So Monero actually has a pretty good case for being digital gold. But even then, Monero relies on the internet, like I said. So, you know, there you go. There's 3 reasons why Bitcoin is not digital gold. Like I said, I own some Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin. I'm not against Bitcoin. But do not conflate it with being digital gold. You will sound like a big dummy. So anyway, if you like this video, leave a like. If not, go ahead and dislike it. That's all right. And if you liked me, please subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you. Thank you, friends.